It's another wonder weekend of football. The Toon are tremendous against Tony and Brentford, while Klopp's catastrophic calamities continue. The Port Lampoons and Leighton the Hyonas, and well, ladies and gentlemen, that was intense. I didn't realize I had YouTube open on another window, and all I could hear was the intro running again and again. But thank you one and all for being with us. And it's exciting to be back again. And I'm going to start with you, Lucas. Mr. Lucas, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm really good. Really good for obvious reasons. But yes, I'm having a great start to the week.
I thought we were going to be friends as well, and you've just killed it off the off. But tonight's podcast, are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely.
Sensational. And Sam, it's lovely to have you here. We can be friends because you haven't beaten us this weekend. How are you feeling?
I'm lovely, sir. I'm not too bad at all. I've just dealt with a chili con carne before we've gone live, so I'm pretty happy as well, for very different reasons than Lucas, but I'm pretty happy.
Good. And are you excited for today's podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, Charlotte isn't here with us today. So off the bat, I've been told she's going to be here in the comments, passing judgment or support. One or the other, judgment or support. And there she is. She is here live on Twitch. For all of our audio listeners, our podcast is streamed live Mondays, 8 p.m. on, what do we stream live on? Twitch and YouTube is where you can find us, as well as then all of your good audio platforms. But Charlotte isn't here. She's poorly bad. But first of all, just off the bat, I did want to give a well done to Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte's spoken out. It's Mental Health Awareness Day. Is it the day today? Mm-hmm. And Charlotte spoke out quite bravely about her struggles with her mental health. And it's really brave to do that. It's a really big deal. And so we really appreciate what you have done. And just well done, and keep offering that support. And so big up to you, Charlotte. Really appreciate everything that you do for us in the pod, and hopefully she'll be there interjecting when we say or do things wrong. I got to be honest. I mean, I'm delaying us starting because I don't want to get into the first game. But I mean, off the bat, I did just want to quickly address alleged comments that Jordan Henderson made. Nobody knows at the moment what the situation is exactly, but we just want to pull out there that if he has done anything untoward or anything that others, even remotely along the lines that he's been accused of, that's something that we shouldn't condone. It shouldn't be there, and we should do our best to remove all that sort of actions and those thoughts, let alone those actions, away from the game. And if there is the case, do we want him as a captain of Liverpool? I don't really think so. But moving on, we'll get into it. Before we start to analyze the performances, Lucas, how did the game make you feel? How do you now feel?
Happy, excited, relieved, excited. Happy.
Relieved?
No, it made me feel really good. Really good. That is probably that's the biggest win for me this season for Arsenal. I know we haven't played. I mean, you can only beat what's in front of you, but let's be honest, we don't get a result against Liverpool. We really don't in the Premier League. Last time we beat you, you'd already won the league, so all your players were hungover and on holiday. So we're not really going to count that. And then before that, I can't even remember. Probably when Suarez was playing.
I've got to be honest. I saw a stat, and it was something like the first time in like 6 seasons or something like that we've actually been beaten, or that you've taken full points from us, I believe.
Yeah,
something like that. It said somewhere, but so you're happy. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, I'm hurting.
You kind of expected it though, didn't you?
But do you know what? I mean? Feelings, we'll get our feelings out of the way. Feelings wise, I was really pissed off when I was following it. I mean, I followed the game. I was listening to it on the radio. I was following it on my phone through the updates, and then I watched a lot of the highlights afterwards. And I was really cheesed. Let's get a bit more PG. I was really cheesed off with it. And it hurts, and it's unnerving. It's unnerving, the inconsistency. But another feeling I had was annoyance. First of all, inconsistent refereeing.
Yep.
That really cheesed me off there. And I think, I don't know, we'll touch on the United game later on, but I think, was it United had a goal disallowed for an alleged handball? Was that the way right way around? They had a ball disallowed for an alleged handball, which, let's be fair, it wasn't a handball. If you have eyes, you can see that it wasn't a handball. And then Newcastle had a penalty against them for like that, the old John Terry handball. And then exactly the same handball, we didn't get that. That's not allowed against Arsenal for some reason. I mean, if we start on that first of all, I mean, Lucas, was, as an Arsenal fan, was that a penalty or not in your eyes?
Which one?
The handball. If we start
Which one? Right. So the handball, yes. You know what? I just got to put it this way: if it was the other way around, would I be calling for a penalty? Yes. And that's what most football fans don't do when they complain about the referee, and they don't. They say, "Oh, it's not a handball." It's like, if the boot was on the other foot, you would be complaining that it was a penalty. So any Arsenal fan is saying it's not a penalty is lying out of their teeth. It 100% was a penalty. The second one, I'm not so sure. But then the problem with the second one, the Tierney tackle, was you've given Gabriel Jesus on Thiago. Sorry, was Thiago on Gabriel Jesus. So surely you give the Tierney one, because it's the same sort of challenge. So that is why I can sympathize with Liverpool fans who feel like they've been hard done by, because again, I don't think we completely dominated you. I think we were the better team over 90 minutes, but it wasn't like the Spurs game, for example, where it's just like they weren't getting anything. That game did deserve to be a draw, but I'm happy we won. And also,
really?
I'm happy Arsenal fans are finally going to get rid of this bloody excuse that there's an agenda against Arsenal from the FA and referees, because it's dead in the water now. Let's be honest. So we can stop making excuses and we actually just focus on football, because I'm tired of like the complaints from referee. And I know, honestly, our fan base does it all the time. It's probably new for Liverpool now because everything's been going your way for years. So it's probably a new thing now. Whereas you've been the golden child for years now. So it's turned. But yeah, I know. I think it was a penalty, to be honest. The first one definitely. It was a handball. I mean, yeah, your arm's out. I don't understand the.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what frustrates me is you get Virgil van Dijk does this a lot. The old what is it, like the lollipop man? He just holds his hands behind his back.
Van Disney.
And so because of that, you lose all of your balance. You lose your body shape. You're not as big when you're doing that. But he does that in order to avoid these stupid handballs. Yet Gabriel's just like, nah, we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna make myself bigger. And,
Gabriel's a liability.
He was. It was. I mean, he was somebody that I thought we had over. I mean, and the other thing for me was they didn't show this on many of the highlights, but the dirty tackle on Trent that put his ankle up, which last week Emerson Royal was sent off for not as bad a tackle in my eyes, but yet it is. I mean, it's one of those. I can understand them not being given, but be consistent. If they're going to give him there against the exact same team, give it here against my team, please. Especially, well, I got to be honest, I wasn't upset about Trent going off because, let's be fair, he was really, really bad defensively. He was upset. I mean, awful. I was watching because one minute he picked the ball up and then he put this beautiful pass in. Amazing. And I was like, these balls are just marvelous. Then he's defending, tracking back, and he's like, right, here's my man. I've got my man here. No, actually, I'm going to go for your guy over here, and I'll just leave him. We'll just leave him clear. And then he scores. And he was driving me mental. And I sort of think, I mean, Sam, I think you mentioned it last week that Martinelli was going to boss Trent. I mean, did you think perhaps maybe it's time to shift him into midfield?
He's got to be taken out of the firing line for sure. Certainly somewhere where he doesn't have to defend would help. So as a right back, it's probably a bit difficult playing there right now. If you had a right back to come in, I thought Gomez did better than he did. I thought Gomez was had a decent game actually when he came on. He kept it a lot quieter. Yeah, why not? I think Klopp's at the stage he's got to try something a bit different. He's got to evolve what's going on and he's got to deal with it. And probably sticking Trent out the side is only going to cause you a bigger problem when he comes back at right back. So why not? So particularly, I think European games, if you can get through the one that's coming up, then there might be an opportunity to try it. Do you want to just try it in the Premier League? Probably not. Man City's not the one to do it against next week. But do you also want to leave him exposed out there? You're probably going to have to. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I wouldn't boast about a prediction. Never boast about a prediction. But it took 45 seconds to be right. So it's nice to be right for once, because the rest of my predictions were dog.
I just couldn't believe while I was watching that the guy who's just like on kamikaze defensive mode.
Yeah,
and it's not just his positioning is all to cock, which it is. He's not. There doesn't seem to be that urgency to get himself back into the right position. I mean, where he tracked out to the right for the second goal, I think it was. He tracked out to the right with, I think it was Martinelli and Henderson. And when the ball came in, he just stood there and went, bugger, that's gone, isn't it? that's the opportunity squandered. Never mind. And that's what drove me crazy. I mean, because you had, and credit where credit's due, Nunez had a really good game. Nunez had a really good game, but he was tracking back like a lunatic. Like he had rockets in his feet, and it just wasn't the same. It was very disappointing. As a Liverpool fan, I'm sad. I think Trent needs to be moved, and something needs to be done to remedy that. And we've got Arthur Melo now out injured. We've got Diaz potentially out. Obviously, Trent
just signed him.
Out.
What is going on with your physio? This is like prime Wenger's Arsenal when. This is like early 2010s when we were just getting injuries. You've literally just signed Arthur Melo, who has no history of being injured and is out for 4 months from training.
It's just
there's something severely going wrong at your club. Yeah, something's not right.
It's making me sad, and I'm not sure. I mean, we need a big spend. I think I was talking to someone on Twitter, and incidentally, if anybody wants to get into a good back and forth with somebody, just say something negative or against Liverpool, and I'll probably bite, and I'll probably dedicate the next couple of hours of my life to responding back and forth to you. But we need a good spend and splurge of money to sort of remedy that. But that's what I think. I mean, but moving on to Arsenal. I mean, somebody in the chat. Because for all of our audio listeners live on YouTube and Twitch, Nathan, is Arsenal there to win the league, or no, they won't win the league, or City too strong? What do you think?
I mean, I'd love it if we did. It'd be amazing, but no, I just don't think we've got the squad depth. I think it's that. Like, if our first 11 stayed fit for the entire season, I think we could be up there. But I don't think we've got the squad depth. I think that's the only problem with the World Cup and Europa League. I think we're gonna, we're a couple injuries away. You take Thomas Partey and Gabriel Jesus out of that team, we look very different because Partey's replacement is Lokonga, Jesus' replacement is Nketiah, and those are two pivotal positions in the way we're playing at the moment. I mean, Thomas Partey is literally he's insane. Him, Saliba, Gabriel Jesus are first names on the sheet right now. But yeah, I think those are the positions we just can't replace. Like the replacements, just the drop in quality. That's the only thing. Whereas with City, let's be honest, if Haaland gets injured, are they really going to stop scoring? Probably not. They didn't have him last season and they scored 100 goals. So it's not like Haaland gets injured. People are saying, well, what if Haaland gets injured? Well, then they'll still score 100 goals because they did that last year. So I think City's squad depth is just going to be too much. I know they're going for the Champions League, but I'm looking at them and I'm like, with City, they go on a 10-game win streak, 30 points just in a row. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but we've just got, we've got that part of Arsenal where we do slip up. I mean, we look really good at the moment. Like City is the only team that could beat us, but yeah, I don't think we're going to win the league. I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to happen this year.
Good. Champions League and qualify for Champions League, because I genuinely think Liverpool are going to struggle for Champions League at this point in time. I mean, we've only lost 2 games, I believe. I think it's just the 2 against Man United and Arsenal. So it's not as if we're throwing points away against lower teams as we have done in a previous life. But it's scarier. We have too many draws. It's too many draws. But there's enough being sad. I've had enough being sad now. Let's move on to something nice. And RTL, I mean, in the chat, we've got the RTL Football Podcast asking, where do I think Liverpool will finish? 4th or 3rd? 4th, probably.
Really?
Sort of.
Optimistic. I'm very optimistic, to be honest.
With his hopeful hat on.
Well, you had a good. Let's be honest. The one takeaway is after you scored that last 20 minutes or so up until the second half. I mean, you were absolutely cooking us in midfield.
That's
like
the
Thiago
thing.
was you were completely dominating us in midfield, and it was like it looked like prime Liverpool for a good 20 minutes. It was like you lot were all over us. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I think we've got it there. We've just got to sort out something's not right defensively. The balance isn't right. I mean, Trent's having a mare. Playing two central midfielders is scary because neither of them are really defensive. Thiago certainly isn't, and Henderson's getting leggy. So we've got to change something. But I'm going to stick with fourth. And before you attempt to change my mind, Newcastle 5, Brentford 1. I mean, I was originally going to ask Charlotte to give us her thoughts on this. So if you are in the chat, Charlotte, please let us know what you think. But she's poorly bad. Apparently, she's got a husky voice. She's all poorly cold. But Sam, did you take a gander at Newcastle 5, Brentford 1?
I did have a quick gander, which had nothing to do with me being subbed in to cover Charlotte not being here. I definitely spent some time with the Newcastle Brentford game. Yeah, Newcastle. Slowly, I mean, I was looking at them a few weeks ago, and they had a number of draws, and they didn't have too many wins. And we were sort of saying, okay, Newcastle kind of been underachieving a bit, and it's just starting to come together again. Bruno Guimaraes back, Callum Wilson's back in. I know they got Isak out, but St. Maximin came back on at the weekend as well. And Brentford have just kind of dipped off from that early season form as well, haven't they? So Newcastle just look like they've got a little bit more about them at the minute. Different ways to score goals as well, which impressed me. And to put Brentford to sword 5-1 with some of their performances, even though I think they're on a bit of a downturn, they're coming. Newcastle are that team. They're a bit like Leicester were a few years ago, aren't they? If you catch them on the wrong day, you're going to be in trouble. They're starting to click together. And of course, Almiron, Lucas's favourite attacker, is dominating again.
He's doing it.
God's sake.
Just to make you feel bad, just to try and persuade you to buy him on FIFA.
Any player I slander, just you know what, suddenly just picks up form for the next 5 games.
I know you need to give Nunez and Trent.
I won't be slandering. Yeah, that's why I don't slander any Spurs players. It's not because I'm a Spurs fan. It's because if I slander them, they'll start playing well.
yeah, I believe you. But I mean, I mean the player that sort of stood out and is really making himself look like the shrewdest signing is Kieran Trippier. For me, he's just doing bits. I mean, what's he? Is he 31, 32? I think now, and he's
he must be old. Is he? Yeah, I mean, he's deceptive, isn't he? Because he disappeared off to Spain from the English viewing. I think he was at Madrid for a couple of years. Was it 2 years in the end?
32 he is.
32. He's come back in. I'm surprised more teams weren't in for him because he was a free. He was a free when they brought him in, considering all the money bags that they had. He's just got so many qualities to his game. He was still in the England squad all that time, really, while he was over in Spain. He's just got so much, I think, to it, and still at 32, he's still got a bit to offer for a few years yet, hasn't he? So shrewd business.
Yeah. And his set piece play is just that's what you want. You want a bit of set piece play as well. And I think Nick Pope was a shrewd signing.
Yep.
They seem, considering the money that they've got, even considering financial fair play restrictions, which aren't massive on Newcastle, I think they could have spent a bit more of a chunk of change. They seem to be building up something not too bad. Joe Linton playing in midfield still tickles me. I think
that's one of the most unbelievable transformation I've ever seen is Joe Linton into midfield. I mean, if you'd have said it, you'd have laughed and then said not only that, but Newcastle rocket off the back of doing it. It's unbelievable. That's a Football Manager retrained position.
It literally is. And I've been trying for years to do that Football Manager. It never works. Eddie Howe did it in 6 months.
With Joe Linton.
With Joe Linton. But they've done the right move. They haven't done what Man City did and was sign Robinho. They've done let's get players who improve our first 11, but let's not get people who are suddenly just going to sell loads of shirts before they even kick a ball for us, which I think is the right way to do it. But they're still missing. You know what it is with Newcastle? And I say this on the weekend. If you put James Maddison in that Newcastle team, they are suddenly a top 6 contender. Just like that. Because he is probably, let's be honest, right now is arguably the best in that position, which is what is he playing like a number 10? Because no other team really plays a number 10 anyway. But he's scoring goals. But I think they need an attacking midfielder. They need a midfielder who's going to take off the pressure from Bruno Guimaraes from scoring goals from midfield, because he can't do it every game. He'll chip in here and there, but it's not really his role. And they need someone again with set piece delivery, because again that takes off the pressure of Trippier, who's also injury prone. And I think they're gonna. There was rumors with them linked with Maddison and Tony. They've obviously got Ishak. I think they go for James Maddison either in January or the end of the season when he's got 1 year left. And I think that's a player that elevates them. That's what they're missing. I think they really need like a playmaker / attacking midfielder, and then that suddenly just puts them comfortably in that and keeping Ishak and Wilson fit.
Well, I will say, where's John Joe Shelby gone?
Oh my God!
Probably the right place wherever it is, because he's not starting.
Technically a very underrated footballer, but that guy has no legs whatsoever.
And he's
remember when at Liverpool, he's got no hair. I remember at Liverpool just hitting 60-yard passes when he first got. Was it Brendan Rodgers who promoted, or Dalglish?
Yeah, for Kenny. Kenny. Sorry, he was Brendan.
It was Brendan Rodgers promoting the team. Him spearing that. It was that era, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he wanted him to be something. I don't know if you watched that Becoming Liverpool. Terrible idea of a documentary. And he's like really bigging him up, like trying to make him be the next Steven Gerrard. I'm like,
well,
but he's mental.
Yeah, he is. It was just he doesn't have the legs to play in the Premier League at that top quality. But in terms of passing and technical, like football IQ, John Joe Shelby is very underrated.
Yes, it's just he's a strange one, and you don't think Sean Longstaff can be there?
Oh God,
no.
Us Man United fans.
Oh God, yeah, that link, Jesus. That was only behind Arnautovic as well.
That definitely was. Yeah, that was the worst. The worst link until Arnautovic came.
But we've got, as we were just showing up there, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa is currently 1-1. Emmanuel Dennis and Ashley Young, the ironically named Ashley Young.
Still at Aston Villa.
And he's still playing football. And incidentally, on Bet365 for my bet builder, I had Emmanuel Dennis to score a goal. Both teams to score in my bet builder. Come on.
They're in trouble for us. They're in trouble. I mean, it's the cliche. You go and buy like 20 players and then it's just not going to work. And it's like, it just doesn't. Like, you can't, I don't think you can do that in the Premier League, because it's, especially if you're buying players from abroad, because it's such a shift in, I wouldn't say definitely not quality, but in terms of pace, it's such a change then move from La Liga to Serie A to League One. I generally think the move to the Prem is different because of the pace and the reliance on just running around like a headless chicken for most of the game, as opposed to slowing down the tempo and playing more technical. You can't sign 15 players from different leagues and then suddenly, when you've just been promoted, and expect to stay up, like without a top class manager. They're in trouble. They are seriously in trouble. They probably might have to pull the plug early and give it a go before it's too late.
I thought it was 25, I thought they went for 25 players.
Was it 25? Oh, God.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous number.
Yeah. I'm sure that because they came up, they lost 15 players, I think.
And then bought
when they got promoted. Yeah, then brought in
two. Buy bad players. Like, they bought one of the top goal scorers from the Bundesliga, Jesse Lingard, as much as, he's a bit of an annoying personality off the pitch, but the guy is not a bad footballer for free. Fair enough. Premier League experience. Who else they get? Emmanuel Dennis scored a shit ton of goals for Watford. Was it Watford? Last season. So. Who else did they bring in? Didn't they just sign someone really good?
Nico Williams was a good
Nico Williams,
there, I think. Yeah.
Not bad.
It's just too many ingredients, isn't it? Just too many ingredients. They're trying to make a chili con carne, a curry, a spaghetti bolognese, the whole lot in one go.
You know what it is? It reminds me of after my wedding day. In the evening, we had a very stressful wedding day, but the day went really well. And obviously, I'm happy. I married the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And but we've had our first dance, and I was like, right, let's go have a drink, lads. And we had like a little bucket, and I thought, I like that, and I like that. And I tell you what, we had little tipples of everything, and I thought this is going to be really nice. And I drank it and got smashed, and I was in bed before 10 o'clock. And that's essentially what Forest had done. They got all excited, seeing all these little bits in there. They got it, and they got smashed, and they don't know what they're doing. But before we move on, Charlotte's asking, do Newcastle sit with Eddie Howe? So in one word and a one sentence explanation, Sam, do they keep Eddie Howe?
For now, yeah. I'm interested what they do when they get on the cusp of the top four, whether they pull the trigger. But I think for now, yeah, certainly this season, going into next season, Eddie Howe will still be manager.
Yeah. And Lucas, about you, do you think they're going to keep Eddie Howe, or are they just going to pull him when something else better comes along?
It's hard to say what their expectation is, isn't it? I don't know any Newcastle fans if they know, but I think they try and stick with him as long as possible. But like I said, they've got the excuse of not having like a James Maddison or a 10. They're still missing players, so I don't think they can say it's all an Eddie Howe at the moment. So yeah, I think they stick with him. I think if they finish in that top 10 this season, it's just outside Conference League, then I think they stick with him.
And here's a good one. Charlotte agreeing with RTL Football Podcast that Jose Mourinho could go to Newcastle.
I can see that.
I could see it for the football. I think he's a lunatic if he switches home for Newcastle. Have you
he's
been to Newcastle? That's cold.
It would be box office, though, wouldn't it? It would be box office.
But it is cold, and the people are lovely. I've been to Newcastle a lot. The people are lovely. It's a great fun place to be. But no disrespect, Rome would be my preference. But Brighton 0, Spurs 1 to our resident Spurs fan, Lucas. Did
I caught the first half of this game before I went out, and it felt like I'd watched 3 hours of Spurs after watching that. They are so bad. It's unbelievable. But they keep winning games, and they just they don't lose. Apart from when it's coming to the Emirates, they don't lose. And that is concerning, because you probably think Conte is going to get them to click at one point. They're not going to be playing like this forever. Like, if they get in the top 4 again, he gets another summer, or he gets a January and another summer, some more players that he wants in, some more players he doesn't want get out. They're picking up points. And that's a dangerous position for other teams to be in, because you're like, let's be honest, Arsenal are close to our ceiling right now with that current group of players. They're all playing well. Everyone's achieving. Spurs are playing awful, and they're 1 point behind us. So it's a bit Harry Kane. No one's talking about the fact Harry Kane scored 8 goals. It's actually a good return at this point in the season. But
because everyone's drooling over Haaland, isn't it? Everyone's just drooling and dribbling over Haaland.
Like, I've scored in the last 5 games. Like, give me some props. But Kane, it feels a bit like Kane's. I wouldn't say Kane's bailing them out, but defensively they're very good. Brian gave him a good game, at least in that first half from what I saw. But it's Conte's just grinding results at the moment, and I just don't think he trusts majority of that team. I don't think he wants majority of those players.
And my favourite comment in the chat is Charlotte. Spurs style of play reminds them of Rochdale. That's a very loose comparison. I'm not going to say anything about how Rochdale are performing in the league yet. I will come to that, though. Don't you worry. But I mean, Spurs third. And they've only lost a game. They've lost a singular game.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm unnerved and concerned that it means that Arsenal, Man City, and Spurs are all in that top 4, and that makes it really hard for us to get in there. And Charlotte is redeeming herself in the chat. She's saying Spurs are boring, and she thinks that's where the comparison. I got you, and I'm on board. But yeah, so this is just in the grind was there. Unfortunately, Brighton. Do you think Brighton? Is there anything going wrong there? Do you think Sam perhaps, or is it just they were just ground out by Spurs? They fell asleep mid-game or something.
I think they were ground out. I think they got done. I thought Kane's goal was very well taken. It was such a good reaction. Beyond that, Brighton probably should have scored. Should have scored multiple times. I thought just kind of. We saw the confidence that they still had with Liverpool last week, and that's still kind of flourishing through. So I think at the minute, that's all the kind of the coach has to do is keep laying down what they were doing. In time, we'll see what he wants to do. But for the first 2 games of Liverpool and Tottenham, probably to play the way they did against Liverpool, and even against Tottenham, for Tottenham to grind out. The question will be, can he still get the results against the mid-tables and the rest, which was what Potter was kind of doing to sneak them to that position. So I think it's too early to tell with him. It all just very much looks the same, but I'm sure somewhere along the line he's going to want to put his own stamp or twist on what they're doing. So I don't think they'll be too disappointed, because they played fairly well. But as said in the chat, Brighton, they do look a good outfit, and I think if Potter would stay there, I think we'd all probably be in agreement top half for sure. Now there's just a question mark because we don't know this guy and we don't know what he is going to bring.
Well, it just makes me sad talking about teams playing well. The next, Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. I mean, Potter moving on from Brighton to Chelsea. Potter seems to be, is he doing bits at Chelsea or are just Wolves in a buttload of trouble? I mean, what do you think, Lucas?
Wolves looked actually all right in the first half, to be fair. I mean, they got a good manager now. They've got a very good manager. So I think Wolves, I don't think they'll get relegated. But Chelsea look good as well. They're another one, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, I feel like everyone kind of knew it was going to end up this way. You take that set of players and you give them actually a proper attacking coach who's got Premier League experience. I mean, let's be honest, they weren't going to play worse than they were under Tuchel. Like, come on now. And it looks like the players have actually responded as well. Like he's implementing his style and it's only going to get better for Chelsea. So they've got some good players as well. Like, people forget Thiago Silva, Cucurella, like Koulibaly, Fofana, Kante's still got to come back, Kovacic. It's the other end, which is a bit of a problem. But I mean, Sterling and Aubameyang are two sides of the same coin in terms of missed chances, but they will get goals. That's the thing. They will get goals. You create enough for them, they'll get goals. And then Havertz and Mount are just
I was going to say your mates Havertz scored just for you.
Every time Lucas mentions that a player is trash, I'm putting him in my dream. Straight in.
Literally, he's a joke. That guy. He should be. Yeah, what they did with Werner, just sell Havertz for summer. But I think they're playing well. They're not boring now. Before watching Chelsea as a neutral, there was no point. It was so boring. But I like Graham Potter. It's a shame he's there, but they look good, Chelsea. I think they're comfortably in that top 4 conversation now.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody say, why do you keep playing Mason Mount? And Charlotte said Mason Mount was man of the match, and he got questioned. And I was listening to the Football Daily, I think, podcast, and they were saying, you seem to be everybody seems to pick Mason Mount. What is it about Mason Mount? So what is it, Sam? Educate Lucas. What is it about Mason Mount? On the spot, no prep.
He was man of the match. Man of the match. He's one of those kind of quite sneaks in sort of players, isn't he? You can kind of go throughout a game without noticing some things you're doing, and he seems to pick out numbers, doesn't he? He seems to pick out numbers. I've watched him a few times, and I kind of can't quite exactly work out what he is or what he does, but. Gareth Southgate loves him. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Don't know.
He reminds me of a raccoon. He looks like a raccoon. I just can't do that. But I mean, we'll move on to the game that I'm sure Sam's looking at the format thinking, Jesus Christ, we're never ever going to get there. But we're going to give you a moment. So with your feelings, tell us about your feelings with Everton 1, Man United 2.
I think relief was the great feeling. Say, I got pasted last week for a very just a painful Manchester derby, and it's been a long week. And okay, yeah, we had that Thursday night show that we did in terms of the Europa League, which was a game, I suppose. Can't really get too excited, but I think relief in the end. They played some of the better stuff I've seen off them this season. Some of the patterns in midfield, people dropping in, the way we kind of played out. We got stuck by an early kind of goal where we thought, oh, here we go, here comes our frailties again, and Everton crowd was up, and they responded really well. Actually, I was kind of quite pleased the way that they managed to settle themselves after that earlier period and dominated the first half. I thought deservedly 2-1 up, and the question over Casemiro from last week, well, that was sort of shown as we got through the game. He had a difficult start, made a mistake, was poor in possession, a bit slow. And as the game came on, you kind of saw, okay, this is the guy. This is what all about. He played some passes through the midfield that McTominay wouldn't have even seen, and got the things going. He obviously got the assist for Ronaldo's having won the ball. And you can just see what it might be able to give us. So, yeah, at the end, 2-1, I thought we deserved to be further ahead. We had a shocking disallowed goal. I think we discussed VAR inconsistencies, and that just kind of proves it. I couldn't believe what he's supposed to do in that situation. I know they say it's the rules, but as we said, it's again inconsistencies. So many games of the weekend, you see different things given and not. So that would have killed the game, and it just meant we had a couple of hairy corners at the end. Jordan Pickford always got his head on one of them. Oh God, that would have just summed up the entire evening. So I think in the end, feelings wise, relief would be. main takeaway.
And do you know what? Ronaldo, 700 league goals, 700. And I think, for me, categorically, should put to bed any debate over who's a better player, Messi or Ronaldo. Ronaldo, 700 goals a game. Through what leagues has he played?
You're
Played
gonna
in the
anger the masses.
Premier League twice, La Liga, Italy, and back at this age, still scoring goals at this age. And I'm sorry, Sam, in that shit United team for the whole of last season, and for a good period, he's still doing it. He's still
It's
doing it.
impressive. He does get disrespected, Ronaldo, a lot. It is quite. It's weird, but
it's crazy.
Messi's just a different level.
You look at Messi, but Messi, and that's the thing for me. As things that he can do with a football, I think Messi.
But career-wise,
but I think as a footballer, I think as an all-round footballer mentality, that is adaptability into all the different leagues. I just Messi hasn't got it for me. He's wussed out by saying at Barcelona in the best team in an easy league for years, and then what is
PSG?
He goes to PSG.
Cowardice.
And struggles. He goes to PSG.
Yeah, deliver that World Cup, Messi.
Struggles. Yeah. Come on, do something.
I just hope they fix. Shouldn't probably say that. I hope Portugal, Argentina final in the World Cup. The entire world wants to see it.
Could you imagine?
It just ends the debate. It literally ends the debate.
It would seem like the biggest game of all time, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
we wouldn't
really
even
would.
care about the countries. It would be absolutely massive. I'd almost make it 1-on-1. Tell the other 10 to stay in the tunnel, and we're just going to have a halfway leg of a sprint from the goal line, and have
like in the school playground.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ronaldo would do him because Ronaldo's a man. He's big and he's butch and he's manly. Messi's this little weed, and he tried to give it down. He just dropped the shoulder and just plant him down and be done. But in the chat, Charlotte's being the adult in the chat. She's being the adult in the room. I advise we should both appreciate both Ronaldo and Messi. We are lucky, and we do. But my problem is he played for Pep at Barcelona, and I don't like Pep. He just took the shine of everything that he did.
Did you see just quickly the stat on Ronaldo with the Haaland situation? That Haaland has to score, is it 48 goals or 43 goals a season for the next 18 years to hit the same level as what Ronaldo's had? Which, I mean, at the minute seems possible, but 18 years worth of that kind of consistency. That's just 700 goals is more than most players play. It's just insane.
Yeah, exactly. You don't necessarily appreciate that.
No, 700 goals is insane. So, yeah, he's not the player he once was, but the guy's had an unbelievable career, and he can still score goals.
Exactly. But I mean, what we mentioned a couple of times some of the refereeing issues, and there's been a lot. And in the chat, we've got a question here from Rusty Shackleford, good old Rusty. What do you think about referees from other countries coming to ref in the Premier League and vice versa? I mean, Sam, your thoughts on foreign dignitaries in the refereeing form?
My issue is, having watched the Champions League for many years, and while we complain about the inconsistencies in the Premier League, I've always felt in the Champions League is it's just refereeing differently. If it's a case of trying to get that experience around the leagues and kind of have some kind of commonality, but I think you're going to get issues. You're going to get issues with referees working out different countries and the way the games flow and things like that. So I'm not against it of how it would pull European competition together, but I think they would just get crucified in the first few games. I don't think you can kind of rotate them around Europe that way and just kind of say, here you go, have a season there and try and manage it like you did in a La Liga game, because they're very, very different. Not saying it can't happen. I mean, we've got nothing to base it on yet. Nobody's done it yet. So maybe someday someone will try.
It would be interesting to watch. And look at that. Charlotte's agreeing with you. She always agrees with you. That's just favoritism.
She's intelligent. This is what it is. It's intelligent. That's what that is.
Yeah. But what we shall do. But we'll move on to the European leagues. And I did prematurely pop this straight up. But we'll try and fly through some of these European leagues, as we're keeping you all very late. And I know everyone has a bedtime. But I mean, if you wanna give us, Sam, Look at the loving Sam is getting in the chat.
Sam's getting the appreciation today.
This is it. This is all my accounts over here. Just popping chats in. No, some very, very lovely people in the chat tonight. Thank you for coming.
I know. So for all of our audio listeners, if you do want to join in the chat and the conversation, you don't have to be nice to Sam. That is not a prerequisite. But you can join us. We are live 8 p.m. Mondays on YouTube and Twitch. But on La Liga, while we're on Sam and the Sam loving. Tell us briefly what the hell is going on in La Liga.
La Liga. You see, I'm prepped for La Liga because my background is exactly the same color as your background for La Liga. That's just look at that. It's almost like it's meant to be. Well, La Liga, it's Barcelona, it's Real Madrid. Top two 1-0 victories again this week, keeping them top of the tree. Barcelona picked up a 1-0 win over Celta Vigo with a goal from their wonder kid Pedri. That gives them 7 wins on the trot, and they've actually only conceded to Real Sociedad this season in all their matches. So whether that will change next week, because there's a certain El Clasico coming up, which might change that, and that will be very interesting. But what I was most intrigued by this weekend was their defensive selection. Did anyone happen to catch their centre-back pairing that they played against Celta Vigo?
Oh, I did.
I didn't. Educate me. Educate you.
So Gerard Piqué now at 35 or whatever he is, alongside Marcus Alonso of all people for his debut in the league at centre back alongside Gerard Piqué. I mean, yeah, that's
a risky move.
Choice, is it? That was a risky move indeed. I know they've got Araujo's out at the moment and 1 or 2 other issues defensively, but wow, and to keep a clean sheet, so fair play. Ter Stegen's got some hands. He's got some hands. So alongside Barcelona, Real Madrid with the 1-0 victory, they of course did their bits as well. Early goal from Eder Militao from a Luka Modric corner. He's another who's been going on forever, isn't he? Luka Modric's another one who's got an incredibly long career. And I think for both teams in between key Champions League games, probably more for Barcelona, which we'll touch on. Good to get a victory. So I think both teams will be pleased. Rest of the league, one team I want to catch up. Obviously, we did a piece on Sevilla last week, and as I like to call it, the retirement home of Seville now, as we found out with many of their older sort of players. So they sacked Julian Lopetegui this week after the Champions League. The atmosphere was absolutely toxic. Adama Traore at centre back from the chat. I mean, I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. That's a hell of a position change. That might even top Joe Linton, to be honest. So Sevilla had the high-flying Athletic Bilbao this week. They were pegged back after an early goal, and it looked like they were going to win it. Once they got even at 1-1, as they went through on goal with another of Lucas's favourites, Eric Lamela was through on goal to win it for Sevilla, and was hacked down by the legendary tackler that is Ander Herrera.
My God.
For a red card, which meant it was 1-1, and they dropped into the relegation zone. So Sevilla, unfortunately, is still not quite there. Who their next manager is, we'll see. Lopetegui, is he on his way to Wolves? Don't know, but we will keep Sevilla watch going as we go through the season.
Sensational. And just in the chat, we've got Rusty Shackleford is telling us it's 1 p.m. in Texas. I'm assuming you're telling us that because you are in Texas, which is fantastic. Or you're just sharing time zones. But if you are catching
Rusty is in Texas.
Much. No, that's excellent.
He's the biggest moonshine distributor in the whole southern states.
Nice. And you are now one of my better friends. That takes us on to Serie A, which I believe Lucas has been keeping a keen-ish eye on.
Yes, I have indeed. So I made a fatal error today in that I literally had Kvaratskhelia. I had it down to a T how to pronounce it because the commentator was saying it a lot when I was watching the highlights, and then I forgot it afterwards. But it is a lot easier than it looks, apparently. But yes, Napoli are the team that nobody wants to play at the moment. They're absolutely destroying teams. They got quite a lot of their goals from counterattacks as well. Serie A, I'm not gonna lie, the defending in Serie A is shocking. The standard of defending. They've got some very good defenders in there, but all of them seem to have the Bozo gene, because some of the defending I saw from these games this weekend was absolutely abysmal. But yeah, Napoli 4-1 win over the CREM, that one at the bottom, that team, the CRM team, with again KV getting a goal and an assist. They are smashing it. Udinese, another team that seems to be surprising everyone. They haven't been good since bloody Alexis Sanchez days. But Deulofeu with an amazing free kick. If anyone gets a chance to see it on YouTube, go and watch it, because Deulofeu, yes, he is still about, scored a brilliant free kick in that game. That was 2-2. Inter continue with Aiden Dzeko getting a brace. Yep, Dzeko is still scoring goals over there. Another underappreciated player in his prime in the league. Those tall players with technical ability are very, very underappreciated. But yeah, Eden Dzeko is still smashing it. And then Roma with a 2-1 win. Chris Smalling scores again. Chris Smalling and Dybala score again. Chris Smalling. You can probably guess what kind of goal it was.
Another underrated player.
England squad.
Back post header over the fullback. It was a 2-1, pretty easy. Dybala again with a nice finish, but again, it was all defensive errors. But the big game was Milan Juve, and I think Juve fans probably owe a certain Pirlo an apology, because he was clearly not the problem. Not to say that he was a good manager, but the football was definitely better. It seems that whenever Ronaldo leaves, you have to there's a bit of a struggle afterwards. But Juventus are shocking. They are all over the place, and I don't think Allegri. I think Allegri's got. He's probably got. I don't think he makes it to the end of this month the way they're going, unless they win the rest of their games. I think we're looking at Allegri out, and I honestly think Thomas Tuchel is on his way. I think that'd be a perfect signing for Juve to get them back on track before they get knocked out of the Champions League. But I know for a fact what's going to happen here, because they're going to finish third and drop down to the Europa League along with another load of ridiculously good teams like Barcelona, just to spoil the party, Sam. Yeah. But yes, that is the
final done with.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a good run, mate. But Serie A again. Look how close it is between Juve at 8th and 13. They're only 22. They're only 7, 8, 9 points off the top. So it's still very tight. Look at Inter down there. Even teams like Fiorentina, Torino, they usually have a decent run. But yeah, Napoli are the ones to be at the moment. Atalanta dropped points because they drew, but Napoli at the moment, honestly, I would not want to play them.
Sensational. It takes us over to the Bundesliga, where everyone's favourite, Union Berlin, are still top of the table. You can't quite see that. I will remedy this for next week. The logo is in the way, but 20 points, still 2 points ahead. Which is just sensational. Who would have thunk it? Union Berlin will be leading the Bundesliga after 9 games. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. However, I mean, they played Stuttgart this weekend and they struggled. They wasn't until sort of in the last, I think it was like the 76th minute that they finally got the breakthrough. And so that was... that was a tricky game for them, but they're still there. They're still there and at the top, and it's what we want to say. I think Freiburg, Freiburg did indeed drop some points as well, just to give them a little bit of that gap. But the big game where there was points dropped was Dortmund 2, Bayern Munich 2. Who Bayern Munich were leading 2-0 right up until the 74th minute. I think it was 53rd minute, the Leroy Sané goal. Incidentally, the Goretzka goal. I don't know if you've seen Leon Goretzka, but he is a tank. The man is an absolute tank. And his goal was that as if it was fired from a tank. It was absolutely superb. He just smashed it. He's one of those where you think, I'm not going to save that, because if it hits me, it's just going to go through me. It was absolutely sensational. But the goal scored the 95th minute by Anthony Modeste. Moukoko became the youngest goal scorer in the Classica ever there. I think he's seen 18, 19 Moukoko. I didn't look this up. I just knew he was the youngest because
I think he's 18. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had Karim Adeyemi playing out on the right wing. I mean, if those of you who play Football Manager, it's a bit of a Football Manager's dream team in certain positions over at Dortmund. But I mean, Bayern dominated the statistics in regards to possession and the passes that they made. However, I think and a big thing that Oliver Kahn. I'm not sure if you've seen Oliver Kahn. He's typically, a very normally relaxed, happy chap. He did sort of blow a gasket, and they've got a big question at the moment over the mentality of Bayern Munich. Why is it that Julius Nagelsmann is not getting out of that team that he should do? And that's interesting because they seem to be struggling, as in they play well, they dominate games, but they just can't put everything to bed at the moment. And this people are questioning, and I think Nagelsmann is getting a bit cheesed off because he's being asked. People are calling you a good coach. You're a good coach, not a manager. You're a good coach. And he did legitimately actually lose his rag. And in an interview said, I'm getting fed up with this question. And so yeah, it's worrying times in the Bundesliga for Bayern Munich. They don't quite seem to be able to do it. But on a positive note for Dortmund as well is young Jude Bellingham is superb. Should have been sent off, another dodgy refereeing decision, but he's just superb. And if we can get him into Liverpool, that would be magic. And if you guys can get him to click in your England midfield, that's a proper star quality midfielder that you can have in that England midfield.
I think the thing is though, Josh, is I don't know if Jude Bellingham's going to want to play Conference League next season, to be honest.
He's gone low, digging below that belt.
I've waited a very long time for this. I have a lot of Liverpool friends.
Liverpool have had a lot of good seasons.
You've had a lot of this coming. The roastings I've got from Liverpool fans.
Nah. And in the chat, Nathan, I did mention Freiburg. They managed to drag themselves in, kicking and screaming to 2-2. They've just been performing. It's a strange league in Germany at the moment. I think that the big teams aren't performing as well, and it's always competitive,
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think this is? I look at this and I'm like, maybe it is really early in the league because does this take away from what we're doing? Because I'm like, they're not going to finish first, so they're having a good stop. It's like 9 games out of 38 is nothing, really, is it?
Yeah. Well,
the juggernauts are coming. Bayern Munich and Manchester City, the juggernauts are coming.
Yeah, and I think it's only 34 games though in the Bundesliga.
Oh yes, it's less, isn't it? Yeah.
If my maths is right, so they're just
the massive winter break.
Yeah, I think the big teams Leipzig have been doing dreadfully. They've been really struggling. They just haven't clicked. Yeah, and well, Leverkusen, new manager, the legend, Xavi Alonso. Xavi.
I love smash it there.
Yeah, he was at Real Sociedad B team, got them promoted, then they got relegated. But he's been picked up by Leverkusen, and his first game is against Schalke, and he thumped them 4-0. 4-0. Their biggest win in the Bundesliga since January of this year, and only their second victory this season. And thumped them. And I was very happy for Xavi, and it's wonderful to see him back in football. If you haven't watched some of his best goals, watch his best goals. But a man who was critical of one of the greatest evenings of my life, which was, of course, the 2005 Champions League final in Istanbul. What a legend, what a hero. But that's the Bundesliga. I mean, that takes on to the Ligue 1, where PSG are top. And that is it. Nobody cares. Much. The only thing I will say is, I don't know if anyone's noticed, Kylian Mbappe is having a sulk because he's being played as a striker. And he's not a striker. He wants to play behind. What did he? I'm sure. Did I take a note of the quote?
Wing, doesn't he?
Well, I got a feeling he said he wants to play behind the striker. And who's their striker? They haven't got Olivier Giroud.
Icardi?
Is it Icardi?
Icardi.
Yeah.
He said he likes playing at France behind Olivier Giroud. And that's the sort of position he wants to have because everyone loves Giroud. Everyone loves Giroud because he's a beautiful.
Brings him into the game. Same with Benzema. That's not going to happen at PSG. You just need you to score goals, mate. I'm paying you 300 million, so score the goals.
Doesn't his contract have a say in transfers now, though? So
that's the thing.
That contract was a terrible idea. They're not winning the Champions League. The chemistry in that team is just it's better than it was. They're playing better than they have in terms of, but Mbappe is a problem, and he's not even the best of seasons compared to his previous ones.
I thought he was running the team there. I thought he was in charge now, and if he doesn't want to play, don't play striker. Just say no, because you can do. You got control everything else. And Nathan, I agree with your thoughts. Mbappe is a whiny baby. I don't think he was. I think he has become that, and PSG has allowed him become that.
They have.
Yeah, and it's just wrong. But League One, when something interesting happens, we'll tell you about it.
Well, Lorient are doing all right.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's not too bad, to be honest. Like relegation fodder.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't got enough time to focus on it though. That's why. But that takes us on to. I mean, we're going to run a little bit longer than normal, but we're going to quickly go through some of the Champions League. There was the Champions League last week, and if you didn't catch it, we had on Thursday our Absolute Football Light Bite, which was a mini podcast, and last week it was between Sam and Charlotte, and it was lovely. Did you have fun, Sam?
It's a lovely time, yeah. It's a lovely little light bite, you know. It's just enough time for, as we said, to watch with a hot beverage, you know, to enjoy yourself. And as we had a little chinwag over the Champions League, and we both came up that we think all 4 English teams are going to qualify from this stage. Do you two agree?
Lovely. Yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too, because we don't want any more of you lot joining us.
No, stay away from our competition.
Just leave us alone.
We worked hard to qualify for that. Leave us alone.
Exactly. Especially Chelsea. Chelsea and Liverpool do not come anywhere near that Europa League. Please.
Leave it alone.
Our next game's against Ajax, and it's in Holland. I'm not going to say anything. My nervousness is we got Rangers. Sorry, Rangers. If we do Rangers, I think we're okay.
This is the level you've gone to. Have some shame.
It's horrible, isn't it?
If we beat Rangers,
if we do Rangers, then yeah, we're quite comfortable. Then I think because we can draw against Ajax. I'm sure we can draw against Ajax, and then I don't want to have to go to Napoli in the last game and have to do anything. But you know, we beat Rangers 2-0. I think Napoli thumped Ajax 6-1. Was a thumping, and but yeah, that's our group. So you're happy? We're all happy. Group A, Liverpool qualifying, going through.
Yeah,
marvelous. So, and as I said, if you want a little bit more in depth on Liverpool's performance in that group, you can check out the light bite that they had last week. But one of the groups they wouldn't have taken, which is one of the interesting groups, is Group B. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. It's Club Brugge, a leading Group B. Club Brugge on 9 points, 3 victories in a row. Porto, Leverkusen, and Atletico Madrid all on 3.
What a team. Bruges. I've started calling them. They haven't conceded a goal yet. They've gone to Atletico Madrid.
Simon Mignolet!
Walked all over Simone, and Mignolet's just turned into flipping multi-hands. He's Bruges.
That is mental. I mean, Lucas, if you're going to pick a team out of Porto, Leverkusen, and Atletico, I believe they all play each other once more. Ooh, logically, surely logic says as Atletico are going through, but what do you think?
I think it'll be Porto. Oh no, that means Atletico are coming down.
Oh no.
No. I'd rather Porto.
Atletico are bottom. Well,
yeah, which means they'll win like their last 2 games. Oh no.
Atletico was a nightmare in the Champions League last year. It was boring, and then you go out. It's just a horrible
They're
180 minutes.
Like, you're just not going to be able to beat them, and they'll just catch you on the break.
Yeah.
It was Sevilla. Sevilla who was the Europa League. That was their cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, Every Cup, isn't it?
3 years in a row.
So,
but Atletico won it that year when they knocked us out in the semis.
You see, Lucas and I have got a different objective with this Champions League. It's just keep anything any good out of there.
There's so many, but I think it'll be Porto. My money's on Porto.
Well, do you know what? We'll take this into Group C then. And who do you think's joining you in the moment? So at the moment, Bayern Munich are on 9 points, Inter are on 6, Barca are on 3, and predictably, Victoria Plzen are on nothing. And they've scored a goal, but they've conceded 12, which is about, what's that? That's 8 more than anybody else in that group. So who do you think's joining you? Well, obviously, Bayern are going up. I mean, on the last game, Inter did Barcelona 1-0. And it's just the away leg. This will be the decider. Do you think, have you got Inter or Barca coming down with you into the Europa League?
No.
It's a horrible choice, isn't it?
I'd prefer Inter, to be honest, because no, it's going to be
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It's going to be Barca. Barca played quite well in that first game though against Inter. Could they go over and do them? Possibly, but then it's not a good choice, is it? You know,
It's really not.
It's a rough choice.
Well, do you know what? Even if they do them, so that will put them both on 6 points with 2 games to go.
They'll both have to play Bayern though. Who's got Bayern at home though?
Who's got Bayern last once they've qualified?
I think Barcelona have got Bayern at home, and then
Inter have to go to Allianz.
Yeah, but as Sam said,
Barca could get a result there.
But that's going to be when the last game of the group is Inter Bayern at the Allianz Arena. Bayern are going to be clear.
Yeah,
they're going to be clear by that seed.
Oktoberfest, yeah.
Do you know? I want to see. I want to see Barcelona go down to join you guys, and
I think it'd be quite funny because Barcelona fans are unbearable. But I just means
it would make
as long as they end the Man United side of the table, then I'm happy.
If it's semis or whatever, then there's a bit of excitement by that stage. But just give me If it's an exciting game, but you know, if it's final, stay away from that. No.
I mean, you could have Ajax, Porto, and Barcelona so far. Some good teams. I mean, Group D, another tight group. Sporting on 6, Tottenham 4, Frankfurt 4, Marseille 3. This is anybody's group. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you guys are happy with anyone coming down there.
I'd like it to be Spurs, to be honest, but
Arsenal Spurs Europa League sounds fun.
I would probably not want Marseille, to be honest, to drop down. Thing is, Marseille have got a lot of ex-Arsenal players, so I'm a little bit. I've got the Football Manager ex-player fear in me because they've got Alexis Sanchez, Guendouzi, Nuno Tavares, and they've got who else? They got? They've got one more as well. But yeah, they've got those 3. Alexis, it's got Alexis Sanchez winner written all over it, doesn't it?
It has. The turd turns up, having done absolutely jack all for us for 2 years.
Yeah, it's us and Man United. You don't want him playing against you because he's actually having a good season as well.
He's found his level then at the same league that Lionel Messi's struggling to perform well in. So, I'm assuming in that
he's having a good year though. He's having a good year, Messi. I mean, he should be. It's the bloody French league, so
exactly. And he's Messi.
He's Messi in PSG in the French league. He should be doing Haaland damage. But I mean, do we think Spurs are going to qualify out of this group?
I think they will. You know, I think they're going to sneak it. I think there'll be a draw away in Frankfurt, and they'll do enough because I think all of those games are winnable. There's no one you're going to go, they're not going to win that. They're going to win that. I think it's open, which is why it's so close. There's not a lot between all the teams. But I think Tottenham are just to say, I'm flip-flopping because last week I said they were about to go on a terrible run and they've beaten Brighton. So I'm not going to be like, yeah, they're great now. But no, I think Champions League, they'll be okay. They're going to sneak through.
So we're looking at either Frankfurt, last season's Europa League winners. Is that Frankfurt? That is Frankfurt. Isn't it? Frankfurt, marvellous. Or Marseille. Awesome. Well, you enjoy that at the Europa League. So Group E, we're making our way through here. Group E, Salzburg, Chelsea, Milan, Dynamo Zagreb. Another tight group. So it's 5 points to Salzburg, 4 to Chelsea, 4 to Milan, 3 to Zagreb. What?
Oh no, Milan are gonna. Oh my god!
How long is Zlatan back? When's Zlatan coming back? Is he out all season?
Probably when they drop down and got one of us in the
knockouts,
stages. Yeah,
great.
Because they've got a lot of injuries at the moment, so they're going to struggle because they need to keep their league form up. They're going to struggle in the Champions League. I can see them losing
Zlatan on Lissandro Martinez. That's just what I need.
And they'll all be fit. Milan is another one you don't want to play down there. You beat him not last year before though. You knocked them out.
Yeah, and I think they had the Chelsea game. They had so many injuries. They played so many injuries. So it's not the real Milan you're seeing. So there is a real danger they'll get done again in the San Siro. So I don't think a lot of them are back. They've only got Rafael Leao, but they've got about 7 players out. So by that time, then they'll be dropping down as well. Jesus,
because that's tomorrow.
Barcelona.
So you think tomorrow Chelsea are going to struggle against Milan then?
No, I think they'll win. The opposite. Comfortable win.
So it is. So you're predicting. So far, let me just recap myself. So you're going to be facing Milan. If we say
Atletico Madrid.
Ajax, Atletico, Barcelona, Frankfurt, and AC Milan.
I was quite happy in the group stage, chilling against Ammonia and Nicosia and FC Sheriff. It's lovely.
Yeah,
And we're still making a mess of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've
Dortmund's
got
coming down as well.
Oh,
well, here's a team.
And
view
Juve.
that comes
And
down.
Juve. How can we forget Juve?
Well, you've got Group F. So Real Madrid are leading Group F comfortably on 9 points. Shakhtar Donetsk on 4 points. Leipzig on 3. Oh, I imagine. I mean, Leipzig, Celtic are on 1 point. Celtic, let's be fair, are not really going to do anything in that group.
They go to Conference League, don't they? 4th place. Is that right?
Oh God, yeah. I have no idea.
Did they go to Conference? I don't know.
Oh no, it's Europa League. 3rd place goes to Conference League.
Oh God, we could qualify for that. Oh my God.
Play up against West Ham.
Oh, the positive outlooks. I love it. So who do we think? So obviously Real Madrid are clearing this group.
Yeah, I think it's set. The way
Shakhtar or Leipzig, exactly the same. So you're going to be having a Leipzig. Listen, if you're they're having a garbage season, full stop, though. I mean, and Man City leading Group G on 9 points, as they should do. Dortmund on 6, but Sevilla, who just, to be fair, Sevilla on 1 point, Copenhagen on 1 point. You'd be happy with either of those going down. I'm assuming that group's pretty much set. Do we think?
Yeah, that top 2 is the top 2, isn't it?
Yeah, Sevilla have a turnaround with a new manager, out of nowhere.
Having just dissed them as a retirement home, they're actually guaranteed to knock us out now, aren't they?
But I feel like the league is probably their priority now because they're in a relegation spot. So I don't think they're going to put all their eggs in the Champions League basket.
So that takes us to Group H. Your favourite group, your Paris Saint-Germain and Benfica, both on 7 points. Juve on 3. And team I cannot pronounce, which will go into our pronunciation game. Maccabi Haifa. There you go. They are bottom on.
I think that one's set as well. So Juve are joining us. Bloody hell, Juventus.
Oh, it's going to be, people are going to be watching that. No one's going to watch the Champions League. Look at
the Europa League's actually,
before
they drop down.
The League of the Fallen Giants.
I mean, if you look at it, so you're going to have Arsenal, you're going to have Man United, Ajax, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Frankfurt, AC Milan, RB Leipzig, Sevilla and Juventus. What a competition!
What a quarterfinal you get! Quarterfinal you're going to have as Man City play Bruges in the quarterfinals, and no one's going to watch it.
Exactly. Oh my God!
Sensational! I mean, that is very exciting, and I look forward to that. But we're coming towards the end of the show, and I mean, as you will have noticed. Charlotte isn't with us. She has been poorly bad, although she's been very active in the chat, and we do very much appreciate your support and being there with us. She has sent me over quite a comprehensive list of what has gone down, so I'm going to apologise for not having the proficiency or the expanded knowledge that Charlotte has in regards to talking the lower leagues, but we're not going to let you lower league fans down. I'm going to make a valiant effort to try and talk through and make my way through some of these leagues. And the first point she's put on, which is exactly what I was going to pick up on anyway in the Championship. Shockingly, this will surprise you all. Steve Bruce has been sacked again. This time from West Brom. And I mean, West Brom, right? I believe, are they rooted at the bottom of the Championship? I don't think they're not doing particularly well, are they, at the moment? Well, obviously they wouldn't have sacked him.
I work with a West Brom fan who said to me, Bruce has been sacked. And he said, yeah, it's 6 months too late. I said, he's only been there 4 months. He said, exactly, that's the point.
So they're 22nd. I mean, Coventry are bottom, which as a man who lived in Coventry for 5 years, that's sad to see, especially after the good season they had last year. But yeah, Brucey's gone. Before we move on, I mean, let's be fair, chaps. Is there another team for Bruce? Would you take him, or would you have to be mental to touch him now?
Nottingham Forest.
Lucas.
Liverpool. He's got to stay away from the West Midlands, for crying out loud.
I mean, there's just, for me, he's like Mark Hughes now. He's sort of damaged goods. There's nowhere left for him to go apart from. Is he League One or League Two now, Bruce? Mark Hughes.
League Two.
Is 2, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think Bruce is just one of those. He's not evolved, is he? He's not evolved. He's kind of devolved. He's like Sam Allardyce without panache, which is saying something.
And then Nate in the chat is saying thinks Bruce's time. I agree. I think see Bruce's time. He needs to go the way he's like Neil. He's almost like Neil Warnock, except not quite as successful, much more overrated and underrated than Neil Warnock is, and not as lovable, although he is much more cuddly. But some of Charlotte's other notes here: Charlie Wilk or Wyke. I can't pronounce his name. this young lad for called Charlie, who plays for Wigan. He's got his first goal since his cardiac arrest last year. So I apologise for getting your name wrong. I now feel foolish. But, his first goal since his cardiac arrest, which is fantastic. Jagielka scores as Stoke beat Sheffield.
Jagielka.
That can't
wait, what?
The Jag.
That can't be the Jagielka.
That must be his
Philly
son
Jag.
or his younger brother.
There can't be too many Phil Jagielkas around.
That can't be.
Probably not.
He's 40 years old.
Yes, Phil
Oh
Jagielka.
my God.
Sweet baby Jane and the orphans. It is. Again, we're demonstrating our ignorance of why Charlotte is the beast at lower league, as we're surprised Phil Jagielka. So second place, Norwich got beat 3-2 to Preston North End. So hopefully Lucas will get his wish and Norwich shall not be promoted. But you never know. You never know. They are joint on points. It's actually 24 points apiece for Sheffield United, Norwich, and QPR at the moment. So they're all leading the way there. And the playoffs completing the playoffs. QPR, Burnley, Reading, Swansea. Woohoo! Burnley beat Coventry. Bloody Burnley. And Swansea, though, beat Sunderland 2-1. I didn't even know Sunderland were in this league now. Oh, my God. We're looking so ignorant. Charlotte, we need you next time. And QPR beat Reading 2-1. But I've already touched on the relegation zone. Coventry are bottom. Unfortunately, we don't like that. And Huddersfield and West Brom are there. And I just keep saying Coventry. She's mentioned Coventry being at the bottom. I'm not doing well like 3 times. I don't like that in my heart now. But we move down to League One and top Plymouth. Plymouth are top with Ipswich in second. Wouldn't it be lovely to see Ipswich actually doing bits again? I think Ipswich, if I remember correctly, they're a team who's had some interesting ownership issues recently. I'm pretty sure it is Ipswich whose owners tried to ban one of the fan clubs from attending games because they were throwing tennis balls onto the pitch under protest because the guy's just a lunatic and doesn't spend any money. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it'd be lovely to see that. But Ipswich won 2-1 against bottom of the league, Morecambe. And in the playoff position is Sheffield Wednesday, Pompey, Barnsley, Bolton. And Sheffield Wednesday won 3-0 against Cheltenham. I thought Cheltenham just did races again, illustrating my ignorance. Portsmouth held 1-1 against Fleetwood. Barnsley lost 2-0 to Exeter. And Bolton lost 1-0 to Forest Green. Go back 15 years and you'd never see that result, would you? And then in the relegation zone, Forest Green, MK Dons, which I don't know how you feel about that. MK Dons shouldn't be in the relegation zone for League One, really. Their stadium is too nice. And Burton and Morecambe with MK Dons losing 2-1 to Shrewsbury. But I've pounded through these, Charlotte, to get through to the game that you wanted. And actually, it's a little bit personal to me because it involves Newport County, who are as close to a local team as I have. They had to sack their manager because they got beat by Rochdale. It's reached this point where if you lose to Rochdale, you're sacked.
Oh, no.
You're sacked. You're not allowed to lose to Rochdale because you get sacked and you're done. But Rochdale winning 1-0. Who scored, Charlotte? She didn't tell me. She didn't put me. Let me see who scored so we can really enjoy this. I'm going to see if
the bloody Dale.
See, I've been chat. There we are. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me because I can't find League Two. Where are you? Oh, my Opal Fruit days. There they are. James Ball. That isn't David Bentley, is it? So if you missed that last week's show, yes, we did. Charlotte got a little bit confused, thinking David Bentley was the son of the manager at Rocha. But yes, they were a goal scored in the 5th minute. They scored there, but Rochdale won this despite 35% possession, 180 less passes, a pass accuracy of 46%. which I've not seen that before. I've never seen a pass accuracy.
Classic counter-attacking football from Rochdale. That's what they've gone for.
On,
Classic
Rochdale.
counter-attacking. That's what we love.
They have. I mean, they've FM'd Newport County, and as a consequence, he's gone. But big up the Dale. Well done, Rochdale. And Charlotte was so happy. She's done her voicing, and that's why she isn't here. And she's feeling poorly bad. But despite that victory, unfortunately, they are still in the relegation zone. Rochdale is still down there. But they're not stuck on the bottom. That is now Crawley Town. So, Crawley. As the Dale lift up. There we are. Charlotte's enjoying that. Jim Bentley's the best manager in the world. And that's all the Dale fans. You thoroughly enjoyed that. Normal service, though, will be resumed shortly as Charlotte comes back and talks about leagues that she actually knows, as opposed to me just demonstrating a shitload of ignorance to lower league football. So I do apologise sincerely. But this brings us over to the last innings, to our Premier League predictor table. We've only done the one game, so I haven't produced a graphic yet because I don't like to get premature on this podcast. So I'm going to wait till we've had a couple of predictions so we can really measure our performance, first of all. But I will say this, I don't think Ducks did very well last week. So young Samuel
outside of the Martinelli.
I saved it all for the Martinelli Liverpool, see? That's what it was. I used all my power.
I tell you what I did notice, I sided with Lucas on a couple just to side with Lucas, and I think they were right. The Spurs victory was one that was right.
Yep.
And it should have been a draw between Arsenal and Liverpool, so it's not too shabby. But the first game, I don't know why I put it in. I know why I put it in here. We put it in because it's one of the big games of the Premier League weekend, that it would be it's just an easy one. Why have I done this? Liverpool, Man City. Why are we predicting this game?
How many goals will Haaland score?
Honestly, so Sam, tell us how many goals. No, who's going to pick this up? Man City or Liverpool?
City. I don't know how you can pack against City at the moment. If there's a team that could do it, but just not on current. Not on current. That defense, you're just going to get destroyed, I think, from there. I can't go against Manchester City at the moment.
Lucas, are you going Man City as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm going.
It'd be amazing for football if you pulled out a win, though. But
I mean, I'm never going to say that Liverpool are going to lose, so I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for an exceptionally optimistic draw.
You'll turn up though against them. That's the thing. Your players will turn up. You'll play a good game, but
the only benefit I think is that we both play high lines and we both play attacking football, so we sort of stand a chance. But I'm still going to be captain in Haaland in my fantasy. The next game is Brentford versus Brighton. Sam, where are you on? Brentford versus Brighton?
Oh. That's a tricky one. Brighton had just come off of those games where I think they played quite well. Brentford, I'm gonna think they're gonna have a hangover after that Newcastle game. I'm gonna go for Brighton with this one.
And Lucas, Brentford or Brighton?
I'm gonna go for a draw. I think Brentford have they've fallen off a cliff a little bit, haven't they? After we put 4 past them, so. Yeah, I think they'll have to bounce back, and Brighton are a little bit shaken post Potter, so I'm going to go for a draw.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a Brighton victory. Actually, I think it's going to be a Brighton victory. But no one's gone for a Brentford win, incidentally. But sorry, Brentford. The next game, I think, is actually quietly become a difficult one to predict. Manchester United versus Newcastle. I think that's quite a tricky one. I mean, Lucas, what are your thoughts? Manchester United and Newcastle.
I think United. I think they'll pick up wins against these teams. I think it's the top sides, the top 3 or 4, they're going to struggle, but I can see them just sneaking wins against everyone now.
And Sam, a sneaky United win, or Nathan predicted you a 5-0 win for Newcastle.
Get out of town.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But
Get out. Is this Philip Albert's back, is he? I'd take a sneaky win. I think the teams that play probably will help us a little bit to play against. So I kind of can see that view. I think Varane might be coming back. And I don't think have we had a draw this season. I don't think we've had a draw. I don't think that will continue this weekend. I think United will win. I'm going to be positive for a change off the back of my win this week.
Do you know what? I think Newcastle might sneak it, Do I want to commit to that? Oh, yes. Yes, I am. I think Newcastle might just win. I think you're going to play Casemiro and St. Maximum's going to be back and on full cylinders, and Gumieres and Callum Wilson are going to be too much and he's going to fall over. And I'm going to take that off Nathan. Big Brain Josh. That might become my new handle on social media. Well, that's what I'm thinking. The last game then, Sam, Fulham versus Bournemouth. Two teams not in the best of form. Fulham, Bournemouth.
What a scintillating fixture that is.
An absolute belter. That is 6 pointers all over, isn't it? Well, Bournemouth won, didn't they? They beat Leicester. Mitrovic still injured. Mitrovic is still out for Fulham.
I think so, yeah.
And they capitulated against West Ham, didn't they, the weekend? So Bournemouth, I think I saw earlier, unbeaten in 5. So I am going to go for a stinky draw in this one. A stinky draw.
Oh, and Lucas, you going for a smelly draw or a victory?
I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win.
I'm going to go for a very smelly draw as well. I think I just don't think Bournemouth are going to be able to do it from home. And Charlotte is in the chat here, so she could have had a bye this week, but she hasn't. She's throwing her cards on the table. She's doing it. She's going for Man City victory against Liverpool, Brighton victory against Brentford, draw for United, and a Fulham victory. Not bad. And in the chat as well, a bit of love from Straight Edge for Sam's lighting.
It's all very flashy in there. It's a distracted Straight Edge. Make sure you're awake.
But there, and I think that brings us comfortably to the end. I mean, a massive thank you to everybody for sticking around with us. It certainly takes a bit of effort to be with us this time. I thought it sort of fly by this evening. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I want to thank you guys massively for joining us as we bring in some of our intro music in. Sam, where can everybody find you?
Or on the website at the FM Ducks, on YouTube as well. We're doing some World Cup videos at the minute, starting to count down to the big dance in Qatar.
Oh, superb. And Lucas, where can people find you, sir?
Crab Dribble on Twitch. I'll be continuing with the FIFA streams and probably finishing my Football Manager season at some point, and a bit of Assassin's Creed as well. Oh, and yes, horror games starting soon. I'm going to start with I know it's you, Josh, have been struggling a bit. You were weighing yourself on the weekend. So in your fashion, I will be doing Alien Isolation. Is the game I'm going to go for.
Oh, blimey. And if you'd like to follow me, you can get into a spirited debate over football or most things in general. Just disagree with me on any opinion. And you'll find me FMFO Official on Twitter, FMFO Official on Twitch, FMFO Official on Instagram, YouTube. And as Lucas said, I am on Twitch playing Resident Evil at the moment, where it is terrifying. I haven't cried yet, but it's getting very, very close indeed. You can definitely enjoy that. But as well, please follow the podcast. Follow We Are Absolute Football Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. Check the Instagram account out. Some great work there. And look forward to joining us next time. Thursday, we have another Light Bite. Who's going to be on it yet? I don't know. But are you going to want to be there? Absolutely.